I have long digressed, and therefore shall return to my subject. I think the advantages by proposal, which I have made obvious in many, as well as the highest importance. For first, I have already observed it would greatly lessen the number of papists with whom our yearly overran, being the principal breeders of the nation, as well as our most dangerous enemy, and who stay at home on purpose with a design to deliver the kingdom to the pretender, hoping to take their advantage by the absence of so many good Protestants who have chosen rather to leave their country than stay home and pay tithes against their conscience ad absocul curat. Secondly, the poor tenants will have something valuable of their own, which by law may be liable to a distress and help to pay their landlord's rent, their corn and cattle being already seized and money a thing unknown. Thirdly, whereas the maintenance of 100,000 children from 2 years old and upwards cannot be computed at less than 10 shillings per annum, the nation's stock will thereby increase £50,000 per annum, besides the profit of a new dish introduced to the tables of all gentlemen of fortune in the kingdom, who have any refinement and taste, and the money will circulate among ourselves, the goods being entirely of our own growth and manufacture. Fourthly, the constant breeders, besides the gain of 8 shillings per stir per annum by the state of their own children, will be rid of the charge of maintaining them after the first year. Fifthly, this food would likewise bring great custom to taverns, where vintners will certainly be so prudent as to procure the best recipes for dressing it to perfection, and consequently have their houses frequented by all the fine gentlemen, who justly value themselves upon their knowledge in good eating, and a skilful cook, who understands how to oblige his guests, will contrive to make it as expensive as they please. Sixthly, this should be a great indictment to marriage, which all wise nations have either encouraged by rewards or enforced by laws and penalties. It would increase the care and tenderness of mothers towards their children when they were sure of a settlement for life to the poor babies, provided in some sort by public to their annual profit instead of expense. We should soon see an honest emulation among married women, which of them could bring the fattest child to the market. Men who become as fond of their wives during the time of their pregnancy as they now of their mares in foal, their cows in calf, or sows when they are ready to farrow, nor offer to beat or kick them, as in too frequent of a practice, for fear of a miscarriage. Many other advantages might be enumerated. For instance, the addition of some 1,000 carcasses in our exploration of barreled beef, the propaganda of swine's flesh, and the improvement in the art of making good bacon. So much wanted among us by the great destruction of pigs, too frequent at our tables, which are no way comparable to taste or magnificence to a well-known, well-grown, fat yearling child, which roasted whole would make a considerable figure at this Lord Mayor's feast, or any other public entertainment. But this, and many others I omit, being studious of brevity, I can think of no one objection that will possibly be raised against this proposal, unless it should be urged that a number of people will thereby much lessened in the kingdom. This I freely own, and it was indeed one principal design in offering it to the world. I desire the reader will observe that I calculate my remedy for this one, individual King of Ireland, and for no other that it was, is, or, I think, ever can be upon earth. Therefore, let no man talk to me of other expedients, of taxing absentees at 5 shillings a pound, of either using clothes nor household furniture, except what is of our own growth and manufacture, of utterly rejecting the materials and instruments that promote foreign luxury, of curing the expensiveness of pride, vanity, idleness, and gaming in our women, of introducing a vein of parsimony, prudent intemperance, of learning to love our country, wherein we differ even from Laplanders and the inhabitants of Tapamambu, of being a little cautious not to sell our country and consciousness for nothing, of teaching landlords to have at least 1 degree of mercy towards their tenants, lastly, of putting a spirit of honesty, industry, and skill into our shopkeepers, who, if a resolution could now be taken to buy our native goods, would immediately untie to cheat and exact upon it in the price, the measure, and the goodness, nor ever could be brought to make one fair proposal of just dealing, through often and earnestly invited to it. Thank you, Don Cheadle.